The Mesa Chamber of Commerce Inside Business Podcast brings you a unique view of Mesa through its vibrant business community and the subjects that are important. The podcast is produced in the Mesa Chamber of Commerce Media Studio. Our podcast is hosted by Mesa Chamber of Commerce CEO Sally Harrison. Please enjoy this episode of the Mesa Chamber Inside Business Podcast.
Hi, I'm Sally Harrison, President and CEO of the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, and today in our podcast studio we have Kayla Carrizosa, founder of Carreon Payments.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Thanks so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. You're here because you are one of the sponsors of our Women's Business Connection.
That's right.
And we appreciate and thank you for that. But I know that the committee made up of the sponsors and some women who've really been involved in that group for quite a while have really started to focus a lot on making sure that we have some really great speakers coming in and that the value for being there is like top notch.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
It's evolving. It started as such an amazing group and it's just evolving to be even bigger and better and more powerful. So
it's great.
I'm so happy to have the opportunity to even be the sponsor of that. I think that's just something I'm really proud of.
Well, great. Why don't we start by having you introduce yourself a little bit and share the story behind Carreon Payments?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm Kayla. I'm one of the co-founders of Carreon Payments. We're an Arizona-based payment processing company. And really the business started because we were seeing the same problem over and over again with businesses. Business owners were paying more than they should for processing. Most of them didn't even realize it. They just thought that was a standard. The statements were confusing. The pricing wasn't transparent. And the support was literally non-existent. I mean, basically always being put into a queue with a ticket. We wanted to build something different. So something a little more personal, something more honest, and something that actually helped business owners rather than just being a headache for them.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, what inspired you personally to get into payment processing, that industry?
It's a weird industry.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that I could think of as a young woman and going, oh, I could do this. No, I want to do payment processing.
It's actually very personal because it is a weird industry to get into.
Well, bet.
So the personal story is really my family inspired me. They've owned a contracting company for about 25 years now here in Arizona.
Nice.
And it came about one day that I asked them through me referring to somebody if they could take a credit card for their payment, and they said no. And I couldn't understand that because I pay just about everything with my credit card or debit card. Yeah. And they said no, that it was going to cut too much into their profit margins. Already slim profit margins, and those credit cards were costing them 4% plus whatever maybe the software might cost them. And they said they just couldn't afford it. So they were working off of cash, check, Zelle, Venmo, those kinds of things. And it was taking them a million years to get paid because of the limits on Zelle and Venmo. And so it was something that I couldn't believe. So I decided to get in the industry and worked for a bigger credit card processing company. And I thought they were the good guys. That's really what they were advertising was, we're the good guys, we're cutting low rates, we're fair, transparent pricing, easy restatements. Worked with them long enough that I realized they're not the good guys. They maybe were better than some of the bad guys out there, but they definitely weren't the good ones. So at that point, my husband kind of inspired me to say, let's do this on our own. You know the in and out. Let's do it the right way. So that's really kind of how we came about to do starting this business. And I decided to step out, start something on my own, with the goal of doing it the right way, fair pricing, no unnecessary fees, real support, and honestly, being on the other side of this, seeing an actual small business be ran by a local people, I wanted to make sure that they were getting the fair deals.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very cool. So for our listeners who might not be familiar, what does Carreon Payments actually do? I mean, I'm sure there's 1,000 things.
Yes.
Yeah.
1,000 things. At a very basic, simple level, we help business accept payments. So whether that's credit cards, debit cards, ACH, we even have systems that help them manage their cash flows as well, so they can manage all of their payments in one. But yeah, that's essentially where we start, is help them take payments.
Okay.
But what we really do goes way above and beyond that. One of the first things we do with businesses is we do an in-depth statement analysis. We want to educate our clients. What are you actually paying for right now? What's real and what's a made-up fee?
Yeah.
It's not super regulated industry, so processors.
That's kind of scary.
Yeah. So processors just to go make a line item for whatever they want to add to kind of profit pad on there. So we go through and actually identify what they're paying for. Because we're a small business owner ourselves, we don't have any shareholders. We don't have any major overheads. So we're actually really able to control our own rates. So we know what comes from Visa, MasterCard, American Express.
Sure.
And then we can control everything else from there. So it doesn't have to be 4%. It's actually a lot less expensive than that.
Nice.
But honestly, the most important thing that we deliver that's different from the big guys is our customer service. I can save businesses money on their rate, but that will never compare to the time that I save them. The time that I save business owners is the most valuable thing that we put forward. We are their tech support. We are their customer service. They have direct contact to my cell phone. I never give them a 1-800 number. They call me. They call the other co-founder. They call our local support team. We're boots on the ground. We come to you. We fix it. You're never down processing. You're never calling a bank or being in a queue or getting a ticket to fix your problem, whatever that may be.
Well, that's wonderful. So talk about the common misconceptions that business owners might have about payment processing.
So there's actually a lot of different misconceptions with payment processors. If you're okay with it, I'll go over a few of them with you. All payment processors are not the same. A lot of them will offer a flat rate that has a little asterisk on it. There's a lot of catch with that, so that's just not true. A lot of business owners assume that rate that they're quoted is the full picture, but there are usually additional layers behind that. A lot of markups that could be anywhere between a monthly fee for customer service or software costs, hardware costs, things like that. So those are not necessary fees. We do free hardware. We do free software. Those aren't things that the business owner should have to take on from them. Another big one is that switching providers is super difficult and super risky. That's also not true. With the right support, it's actually a pretty smooth process. So we're very hands-on. We do everything from setting up the hardware, setting up the software, training employees. I've even created continuity. So if their employees are not the most tech savvy, we'll make little cards for them or little pamphlets so that they can quick reference back on how to use our equipment later.
That's cool.
And then the other one is that business owners don't actually realize how much they're paying in total. So they think that they have a great rate, and maybe they do, but what about all the other things that are coming along with it? So that's one of the biggest things that I hear all the time is, I have got a great rate. Well, that's good, but what about everything else?
Yeah, interesting. So what makes Carreon Payments different from larger providers like Square or Stripe? Because I think lots of people would have heard of Square especially.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been around a long time, and they do offer good services. It's offer good products, I should say. But there's no customer service there. There's no tech support. If they don't like your business model, they have the ability to just cut you off with a 2-week to 30-day notice. And now what do you do?
Oh my gosh.
So there's some big downfalls with places like Square and Stripe. You're mostly dealing with software, automated support systems, and AI chat that may or may not be able to help you. If something goes wrong, like I mentioned, you're submitting a ticket. Sometimes you never hear back from that ticket.
I hate the word ticket. Because we have to do that with different organizations that we work with or different providers that we have. And when it's like, we can't really help you until you submit a ticket, it's like, but I've got your attention right now. Like, why not? Like, just help me now.
Give me to the person that can help me.
Right.
So with us, we are the people that help you. So you never have to submit a ticket. We do it for you, which is, like I mentioned before, kind of one of the most valuable things. We don't take a one-size-fits-all approach, and Square and Stripe do. So it's basically one rate for all, one type of equipment for all. They don't care how you run your business. They just give you whatever they've got. And that's not really how we do things. We want you to tell us how you run your business or how you ideally would like to run your business. And then we create a customized, tailored solution to that. We've got millions of products that we can work with. And millions of rates. Just because the rate seems good, I might be able to get you a much better rate and again save you time. That's going to be the biggest difference between us and Square and Stripe.
I think right now time is like the most valuable thing we all have, right?
Absolutely. I ask business owners all the time, like, what is your time worth? If I could give you an hour back in your day or an hour back in your week, like what would that do for you? And most of them are like, that's just invaluable. It's I can't even put a dollar on it. So when I hand business owners a stack of my cards and say, give this to your team. If they have questions about their payments, devices, call me, don't call you. I had a lady hug me the other day because she's like, I can't tell you how often my phone is ringing right now. For you to take that off my plate means the world to me.
That's awesome.
Things like that are
That's
important.
actual customer service.
Yes.
Which isn't that normal anymore.
Right. It's a relationship that needs to be there.
Yes, exactly. Well, you mentioned helping businesses reduce costs. How does that typically work?
So it starts with understanding the business first, because every business is different. Even if you look at general contractors, one general contractor operates completely different than one that might be right down the road.
Sure.
So we want to understand how they're running their business, how they're actually getting paid. Are they taking in-person payments, online payments? Do they do recurring subscriptions? Then that full statement analysis comes into play that I mentioned before. We can usually get a good idea of what kind of cards they're taking and what fees are coming from the card brands. So from there, we can actually build a structure around their business model that makes sense for them. So we're not having to shake things up too much, but we can still give them that better rate. And then we can also introduce things that can simplify their processes, streamline it, automate it, do whatever might help in those ways. And even implement things like dual pricing and ACH so that they're not having to take a Zelle anymore. They can do bank-to-bank transfers. They can, share the cost with the customer on those transactions where they offer a cash price or a card price. So we can technically take a merchant all the way down to literally $0 to be able to process with us if that's what they want. But we don't want to tell them how to run their business, so it's up to them.
That's great. It's nice to have options, right?
Absolutely.
So talk about maybe some of the rewarding experiences that you've encountered since building this business, because it sounds like you're out there every day meeting people. I mean, that in itself has got to be right up there at the top.
There's so many rewarding moments for us. It's really that moment that it clicks for a business owner, that they realize that their great rate that they thought they had wasn't so great. I think of one merchant that came to me a couple months ago and said, thank you guys so much. They gave us a little gift. They said, if we wouldn't have switched to you guys, we may have had to close our business.
Oh, geez.
They said we were about 6 months out from considering selling or closing. Our costs were too high. We were able to take the money that you saved us and we put it back into our business. We use that for our marketing, and we have increased our foot traffic dramatically.
That's awesome.
So little wins like that, I think, are huge wins in the community. We've also gotten pretty involved with a lot of nonprofits.
Nice.
Keeping their donations pure is a huge goal of mine. I hate when I make a donation and then I find out later that only 75% of that went to the charity and the rest of it went to credit card processing fees or whatever else.
Admin fees.
Yes, it's so frustrating to me. I totally believe in those causes that those people are working towards. Nonprofits put in so much hard work. I don't want them to have to work extra hard to make up that difference.
That's wonderful.
So we work with about 7 nonprofits right now, and we're looking for more because that's just us giving back to the community. We hook them up the best that we can and really support them. And
that's great.
Yeah, we really like to do that kind of stuff. So those are probably the most rewarding experiences for us.
That's great. So how has being part of the Mesa and Arizona business community shaped your company?
It has been everything to us.
It's a great place to be.
I can't even put too many words to it because it has just been everything. We live in Mesa and we work in Mesa. We're part of the community in so many different ways, from, like I mentioned, nonprofits to working with our business owners. but we don't advertise. So we have a website and that's about it, and some flyers. Every single client that we have has been through word of mouth.
That's
so
awesome.
through Mesa Chamber meetings, through Taste of Mesa.
It's relationships.
It is. Everything has come from this community, and we make those relationships with our clients. They're no longer clients. We have relationships established with them. I know their dogs' names, their kids' names. We go to kids' parties. And those relationships then have expanded and created a huge web for us. And a lot of that is attributed to the Mesa Chamber. So thank you guys.
Good for you. Well, but that's how it's supposed to work, right?
Absolutely.
You do have to put some sweat equity in to be at things and build relationships, but they pay off.
And something we're super passionate about is cross-connecting, as I like to call it. Those businesses only, or our business, I should say, only succeeds if those businesses are succeeding, right? And so we do a lot of cross-connecting with the people that are in our network, and so we end up finding ourselves in this kind of like organic networking, situation where we're saying, hey, client, you should work with this client over here, and it's just expanded everything and brought our web kind of together into one big community within our own business.
That's great. That's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Well, looking ahead, what are you most excited about for the future of Carreon?
I honestly think that I'm just really excited to continue to build this and improve the experience for our clients. A big focus right now for us is making payments feel more seamless. So connecting into things that are already existing, connecting into their CRMs or their service products that they maybe use for field work.
Sure.
And so we have a lot of partnership integrations right now that have just gone through. And we're working on a few. We have some patent pendings for a few of our own proprietary systems right now.
Oh, that's exciting.
So stay tuned for more on that.
Yeah.
But those are going to be systems that can do everything from POS systems, invoicing systems, tap on phone payments.
Oh, very cool.
I mean, you name it, it'll do it. We've even worked with several bookkeepers on making our reporting flow directly into their reporting, so reconciliation becomes easier for the bookkeepers.
Yeah.
So, some big things coming for us, so we're very excited for that.
Good for you.
And then just continuing to grow in this community, honestly, continue to partner with local businesses and local nonprofits.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for what you do for your customers, your clients, your friends. Talk about what's coming up for Women's Business Connection.
Yeah, so we have April 28th at the Holiday Inn in Mesa, our next Women's Business Connection meeting, where we're going to be doing speed networking.
Awesome.
Which is going to be kind of a little bit more like cross-connecting. We don't want people to sit with the same people.
Right.
We want them to get to know each other, find some power partners that they didn't even realize might be great connections and great power partners for them.
Very cool.
So we're excited about that. And then a few other really exciting things coming up in the next couple of months with that.
Great. Well, if anybody's interested in registering for that, they should go to the Chamber website at mesachamber.org. Thank you for all you do for this group, but for our members. We appreciate you guys being engaged.
Thank you so much for having me, too. And part of the Chamber and today.
Yes.
This has been a Mesa Chamber of Commerce Inside Business podcast. You can find all podcast episodes at iTunes, Spotify, or your own favorite podcast website. You can also find them online at mesachamber.org. Content of this podcast is copyright the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, unless otherwise noted.